Alright, hello everybody, welcome to this evening stream. So this evening we're back with another game development stream. It's been a while, feels like I haven't streamed for a long time. It's been a few weeks, so it's nice to get back for a new year of streaming. So what we're going to do this evening is we're going to remix an existing game. So this is a game that's available through the new remix feature. This is going to be Stand Your Ground by Rock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remix that, and I'm going to try and use some of the packages that were available or that were winners in the Spark Awards that we kind of announced last week. So there's a couple of packages that are going to be really quite cool. I've had a bit of a play today of a way I can do it, and hopefully I'll be able to recreate it tonight on the stream. We're going to use the shield package, we're going to use the equip and stow package, and maybe some of the other little bits if I've got time to get those in. So, you know, hopefully this is an idea of showing how easy it is to sort of take a game that exists, remix it, using some packages and kind of change up the gameplay. It doesn't have to be great, vast difference. I think the fundamental game is going to be the same. I've got a few ideas for some tweaks to the gameplay itself, but yeah, just an idea. You know, hopefully in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, we're going to have, you know, a sort of slight twist on the stand your ground, sort of king of the hill experience. What we'll say is I have got a bit of a, I don't know if I sound any different, but I've got a little bit of a sore throat. If I suddenly have to kind of mute myself and start coughing, you know, bear with me. I'll do my best not to cough down the stream. So yeah, hopefully we'll get through the stream in one piece. I'm going to be sipping quite a lot of water throughout this, so you have to bear with me for that. Okay, so let's just jump straight in here. So as always, we're going to start in the hub. I mentioned the Spark winners. If you haven't seen the announcement, then you can see that in game now via the news. Kind of, you know, really amazing creations as always. It's quite a hard decision, you know, again, as it has been for the last few months. But, you know, a few gold awards. We had Elf Squad by Carolina, we had Tower of Heck by Vilva, Resource Owl Tycoon by Slaying the Developer, and the Platformer Set by Makito, which is one of the packages that we've seen. So yeah, some really cool, really amazing packages, and we're going to make use of some more of those later in stream. So, don't want to quit the game. That would have been bad, wouldn't it? Cool. Right, so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a remix. So we have the remix option over here. Okay, and I'm going to search, and we're going to see the option here. So Stand Your Ground, FFA KOTH, which stands for Free for All, King of the Hill. So the objective here is that players will fight in a free for all environment. So it's, you know, every player for themselves. And the idea is you want to be the person that claims the hill for the longest, which is essentially standing in the scoring zone for the longest. I want to call this Battlegrounds. There's like a nice sort of explanation of what the game will be like. Let's select a different image. Cool, and then as always, you know, we hit create and we're going to get thrown straight into our editor. So as always, if you are new here, if this is the first time you're seeing Crayta, then do feel free to ask any questions in the chat. So we've got the usual crew here, so if you wave, so hi Dry Coast, Crayta Espanol, the unofficial channel. So yeah, welcome to you, and Splugster, and everybody else, you know, Sinjin, Little Creator. I think AJ was here. I think AJ might have just wanted to say first, and then maybe it has gone. Who knows? But yeah, so as always, you know, as I say, if there is anything you want to ask about the engine, if there's anything I do that you want a bit more explanation on, then always happy to do that. So, you know, this is going to be a kind of code heavy stream. There's going to be a lot of kind of working the packages into a state where they work with the rest of it. So, you know, obviously a lot of the packages get made, they work really well in isolation, or they work really well drag and drop as scenery. But when you start to get, you know, a few packages coming together, unless they're made by the same person, you're naturally going to have some sort of, you know, integration process to go through. So I've had a little go with it today, and hopefully I can get it all to work quite nicely. So hey Echo Rock, so Echo Rock in chat, obviously this was your game, so it's a really, you know, it's been a really fun game, sort of game type to sort of tweak, play with. So we'll just hit a 5 straight away, and we'll have a little look at the sort of game that we've got working here. So essentially, as you can see, players start with 2 weapons, a shotgun, assault rifle. First to 50 points wins, and it's just sort of fairly usual combat. Get into this area, you are king of the hill. My point's going to start ticking up, and then when that hits the top, that is going to be the point in which we, you know, which I win. Once I leave the area and there's no one else in there, that's going to end that. So that's the sort of the game that we're we're working with. So I've got a bit of a plan. Let's go through that. So first thing I want to do is get the shields integrated. So they're going to be the sort of the biggest bit to try and work into the game. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to head to advanced mode and I'm going to install the pistol package, which gives us essentially the same as the gun we've got, but it's going to give us a pistol. I think it's going to give us a slightly updated gun package as well, which is worth doing. Here we can see, because the gun package that came with this game is at version 82, and the version of the gun package we're about to install via the pistol is more up to date. We're probably going to want to take that, and same with the crosshairs. So there'll just be little code tweaks here or there, so probably fundamentally the same, but always worth to keep those updated if you can. Let's go to our user and we'll set that up to start with. So I'm going to make it so you can only hold one weapon at a time. So I'm going to make max size of 1. The defaults I'm going to get rid of 1. I'm going to change this to my new pistol. So that means we're going to start with a pistol when we jump into the game. Okay, so shield package. So you can find this by searching for shield in the store. And you'll notice we have CVS shield package by Crayta. And it's essentially, it's a really cool package. It's a very technically impressive package. There's quite a lot of code, quite a lot of different ways of approaching problems. So it did take a little bit of time for me today to go through and sort of work out the best way to approach the problems. But it's nice because, you know, it is really quite flexible. And it works out of the box. So if you're not trying to incorporate it into gameplay like I am, if you just kind of want a character to pick up a shield and hold it, it just works, which is great. Let's install this. The first major thing I need to do is try and get it to work alongside the inventory package. You know, they kind of need to work side by side. And there's one little code tweak I need to make, which is of it. So firstly, let's just have a little look at what we get. We get a whole load of really cool types of shields. So for example, we have this one, really cool. Turn the so we get this cool like wooden shield with the chains around it, like that. Cool. I want to use one of those. I'm going to use a iron shield at some point. And that's one of the new ones we brought in. Let's go for a police shield. This one's pretty cool. This is quite an old one, quite an old shield we've had in the game for a while, but it's nice to see package really starting to make, you know, the most of these older meshes that we've had. I'm going to do one more. I guess I'm just going to go for like a wooden shield. Quite similar to that one actually. Not do that. Let's do. We've got the tower shield. Oh yeah, let's do a tower shield. So this is quite cool actually, because this is an example of a shield that we don't actually have in game. It's kind of been kit bashed together with various. We've got wooden swords, we've got planks of wood, we've got ropes, and they're all set up in a way by default that it will bind to the player's left arm really nicely. So these are our shields. Lightly. There's a few little things to be aware of with the way this package is put together, and you know, it's understandable the way it is, but it's just something to bear in mind. For example, this whole shield has got quite a lot of things underneath it, you know, various various triggers for like prompts for picking up, and there's all sorts of, you know, those sorts of triggers. But then you've got the main shield here, we can see. And then underneath a couple of locators we have the appearance, and it says here item to equip. When you actually pick the shield up, it's this entity and anything underneath it that we actually get. So if we lift this up, we see that all of this stuff stays here, and this is actually what the player gets attached to it. So the pickup point remains. So what I'm going to do with mine, because I'm going to have like pickups and like a pickup system, is actually I'll pick up the shield out of the triggers and the triggers will stay, and then I'll delete the triggers. So that's just one of the ways in which I'm kind of taking this and tweaking it to work in a different way. We've got those. Okay, so if I just try and use this now, I'm going to get an error in one of the scripts, and it's to do with the fact that the shield system that comes with it when you pick stuff up, it kind of assumes that you're not using other things like an inventory. It assumes everything you have in the world will be using these scripts. So if I go to the pick and add script, so pretty big script, as I say, hopefully it's not too intimidating, but there's just one little code change you'd need to make if you are going to use this inventory system. And maybe this is something that Cobra could fix, because it's a bit of a guard anyway against anything here. But we notice in here, what we're basically looking to do is to override sockets. We're kind of saying if there's something on this arm, then let's destroy the old one and put a new one in. On this line here, we say if the object has this script, or this, basically, this socket is equal to the socket we're looking for, then the problem is we're going to have, because we've got the pistol, for example, we're going to have things attached to the player that don't have this script on them. So it's just a simple case of saying if fc underscore inherit properties, and so what we're doing there is we're basically guarding. We're saying that if the object has one of these, then let's check this. If it doesn't, it's just going to skip this entirely, and that's going to prevent that error from happening. What we should see, I've not overlooked anything, is we now have a pistol in our right hand, and we've got the ability to now pick up a shield that will sit in our left hand. Oh, classic, spawn me on the other side of the map. Good chance to check out the environment, actually. So really cool, really well put together map. Lots of kind of varying heights, which is always good for a shooter. It's not too flat, not too open. Right. Okay, so we've got some shields. And there we have it. So we can see that I've just picked up my chain shield in my left hand, and it works really nicely alongside the pistol grip. You can do all the things you'd expect, and the animation kind of holds it really nicely, and Cobra's done a really good job of making sure it sort of fits on the player's hand, so you can see really quite nicely here. If I just get right in, we can see that the hand is actually really nicely grabbing that, and the arm guard, there's a tiny bit of thing, but for a kind of trial and error sort of system, it works really, really nicely. So we've kind of got this cool stance now, so our players can essentially run through the whole game and be guarded. So what we're going to do, let's just test a couple more. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so these shields actually have some sort of consequence on the gameplay. There. Nice big shield. Cool. Tribal shield. So, as I say, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so these things actually have a knock-on effect in gameplay. So I'm going to add it that when you've got a shield, you can kind of negate some damage. So you take like 50% of the damage while the shield's got some health. So, you get shot too much, your shield will be destroyed, and then you'll take full damage. Something like that. Okay, so let's open up one of these shields. Okay, so this general properties script is a way of kind of defining things about the script, about the shield itself. And you'll notice the appearance one has this thing called inherit properties. And what that basically means is, because we're going to detach this shield when we attach to the player, like how I mentioned before that we take the shield away from the triggers. So what that means is, I think this inherit properties is going to take things from this general properties script and kind of carry it along with the shield, because they become separate things. So bear in mind, this isn't my script, this is just the way I've understood being put up. If you do have any questions, your best bet is to probably reach out on Discord to Cobra, or via the package guide on the forum. I'm pretty sure this one had one. Ask questions there, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to explain. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to open this general properties. I'm going to add a new property. It's going to be our shield health. It's going to be a number. I'm going to have a default of, let's say 300. So if our base health is 1000, then our sort of default number of shields should be 300. And what I'm going to do is basically tweak it so the different size of shield gives you kind of more protection, for example. So the big blue one probably gives you the most, and the smaller wooden one least. Okay, what I'm also going to do while I'm here is I want these to kind of be in the world and look like pickups. And the best way to do that is always to have sort of a rotation to it, I think. So let's just, in it here, let's just write a quick timeline, basically. Let's just... So this is a really handy little snippet of code to remember if you are looking to do kind of rotations in a game. At least, you know, something if it's constantly rotating forever. Timelines are a really efficient way of doing that. Because we're basically going to give this now what we'd say is a bunch of keyframes. So we're going to say kind of at this number of seconds in the animation, this is what your position and rotation need to be. And you know, you can kind of stack those and you can imagine over time how that would build up a timeline of things to do. Then timeline loop is just going to kind of do that over and over and over again. So 0 seconds in the animation. I want the rotation to be 0. Okay, so we're saying basically start at 0. And then let's just say 6 seconds later, I want the rotation to be a new rotation of kind of 0 in the pitch and roll essentially in 360 yaw or however it works out. But essentially that's going to give us our 360 spin. So it means it's going to start at 0. 6 seconds later it needs to have done 360 degrees in that thing. Then we're going to loop so we get that kind of rotation. Assuming I've done that right, that should work quite nicely. Okay, so now I've done that and that we've got our health. What we need to do is actually now tell the health system when we've picked something up. We're going to do that again via the attach objects in this pick and add function. So this is where we're actually going to attach it to the player. So this felt like the best place to basically intercept this and go, okay, we've just attached it to the player. We need to tell the player that they've now got a shield in some sort of gameplay sense. And I think the best way to do that is by the health script, which is on the player. Okay, so we'll say send scripts. We'll say shield active. Okay, and we probably want to pass a couple of things here. We're going to want to tell the player the amount of health it has. Okay, so this script, this pick and add script, actually lives on. Where does it live? Oh. Well, it lives on this logics, actually, that's right. So it's actually, this lives on this entity. Any script folder that's a child of a locator, the scripts on that script folder basically live on that parent. So we can get to this function, or this property quite easy. Should be able to say. So I'll get entity, find script property, shield health. Cool. Okay, so, and I'm also going to pass this entity itself. So what we're telling, oh no, it wasn't this entity. I remind myself in my code earlier. What I want to do is I want to pass the object itself. So self.properties object, that's the thing, that's the shield. So as I say, this entity was all of it, the triggers and everything. Self.properties.obj is this, the thing that we're attaching to the player. So let's make sure we pass that. So then therefore the health script knows what has been attached and therefore it can destroy it when the shield itself runs out of health. So let's go write the shield active part of the health script. Okay, just want a couple of extra little flags up here to help. Whether the shield's active or not, that's going to be editable. False, we don't really want that to be changed property. Same again with the health of the shield itself. And again with the reference to the entity. So what we basically have here is a few properties that we can use on this shell script. What we're going to do is we're going to say now when we take damage, we're going to need to kind of have a check here. So instead of just instantly taking the amount of damage off player's HP, we're going to make a check. Okay, so if there's a shield active, we're going to do some logic. Otherwise, we're just going to do it like normal. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say self properties.shield health. Okay, so I'm going to take the full amount of damage off the shield. Okay, but then I'm going to apply some of that damage through to the player. So the player is going to take some damage, but what they're going to take is half damage to their health. Okay, so if you get hit for 100 damage, okay, your shield's going to take 100, but you're going to take 50. Okay. Then what we need to check is, does the shield still alive? Is the shield still kind of working? So if it's less than or equal to 0 on the health, what we now need to do is destroy that shield. So we've got a reference to it via our entity. Okay, so shield entity. So we're going to destroy that shield and we need to set ourselves to not be active. Okay, and then we just need our other function. So the function we're going to call from here, active. Okay, and what we were passing through here was the health of the shield and the entity itself, and then we can just define those things above. So shield active true. So we now know when we're taking damage that we need to take shield count. Shield health equal what can I say here? Health. Okay, and self.property. Shield entity. Okay, so that should be enough to basically tell the health system we've got a shield, negate some damage for as long as the shield has got health, and then once the shield has run out of health, it will be destroyed. Hope everything then should fall into place and it all should work as expected. Now, a good way to test this, a really quick way to do, will be to say on button press. If the button is equal to jump, I'm just going to make it so every time I jump I take damage, and it's just a handy little way for me to test this while I'm kind of in there by myself. Okay, so we call on damage for this script. Damage amount I'm going to say is 250. The entity causer is ourselves and okay, so that's going to call this function, and we should see whether or not we take full damage, the full 250. Right, I'll make them, let's just say 100. Am I going to take 100 damage, or am I going to take 50 damage based on shield being active or not? Hopefully I'll spawn a bit closer to this way. I guess first test, if I jump, okay, you can see that my health in the bottom corner has just gone down to 900. That's working. Okay, if I pick up a shield, I now have a shield, then we can see I jumped that time and only took 50 damage, so I took half the damage I should have taken because I have a shield. Then I imagine when I get to... oh, it's destroyed already. Okay, well the shield was destroyed when I took enough damage. Oh, 3 jumps would have been enough, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's right, because the shield takes full damage. So, get this up. So in theory then, so the shield's got 300 health, 200 health, 100 health. Shield's gone. Okay, so I've now run out of shield, and I'm now going to take full damage. I jump around. Cool. Base plant on the stairs. Okay, so that's kind of got our shield logic in, you know, in terms of damage negation. We're not going to take damage. What we don't have is sort of shields actually doing something in terms of like being a pickup on the map, because they're just here. Obviously, once I pick them up, they're gone. We sort of need the system that's going to suit the round based type of game, where, you know, each round they come back, or when you pick one up, a new one can appear for someone else to pick up. That's what we're going to work on now. And in order to do that, I'm going to do sort of a fairly simple pickup manager, just its own script that's going to kind of have locations around the map, and it's going to pick yields at random. And so let's delete these ones. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put this on a locator, and we'll just put up guy, and we'll call this our shield pickup manager. Okay, so this script is going to basically give us what we need in terms of being able to control pickups as they appear, as they disappear, throughout the whole, the whole game, not just on a per round basis, but it's going to have to handle which spawns are free, which ones aren't free, stuff like that. So we want to know which shields we actually want to use, so the shield templates. Okay, we need the locations. We'll call it positions. We want to know how many shields do we want out at any given time. Say 5 by default. So at any given point, we're going to have 5 pickups out on the map. And let's go through here. So we want we're going to want a on-round start. So at the start of the round, what's the kind of pickup? What they're going to do? We're going to do the same for the end of a round. So on-round end. Okay, we're going to want a function that essentially spawns it for us. So let's say spawn pickup, spawn pick shield pickup, and then another one that gets us our location. So get random location. Okay, I often find when I'm planning out logic, this is a really nice way to do it, is where you sort of think about like kind of the slightly bigger picture rather than just sort of diving into the code. Sometimes it's good to kind of talk it out and think, what are my functions? How am I going to approach this? Obviously, you'll change it over time, but I think it's just good sometimes to take a step back and really start to think about kind of the way it's going to integrate with the rest of the game. Okay, so on round start, we basically want to get our max pickups amount of shields on the map. So in this case, we want to get 5 shields out onto the map. So we'll say for I equals 1, while that's less than number of max pickups, do the following. Okay, so we're going to do this 5 times. What we're going to do is for shield pickup. Okay, so let's think, what does that mean then? We need to spawn a pickup. We pick a random location. Okay, get a random location. So how does that work? Right, well, we need to randomly go through our positions and determine if they're free. So each position now needs to know if it's free or not, which we can do in a moment. But I'm going to do this in a kind of a fairly Seems risky, but I think it's only risky if you don't plan ahead. But I'm going to do this in a while loop, not in a schedule. It's going to be kind of an open while loop essentially, so it could stall the lure engine, but as long as I make sure that I have enough, as long as I have, you know, make sure I have, say, 10 positions and only ever 5 at a time, there'll always be a free position. You're going to run into problems with this sort of things if you're kind of, if the way you've set this things up don't really make sense. So if I say, you know, keep checking until you find a free position, and I've only got 5 positions but 10 pickups, that's never going to work. What I can say here is while true. Okay, so I basically want to keep doing this little bit of code until I get a result, which should be pretty quick. So I need to pick a random location. A random number between 1 and the number of positions. Okay, and then we can check. Well, let's get that position. If position, find script property, then return that position. What we're saying here is if it's not free, we're just going to cycle back in the code and pick another one, pick another one, pick another one. And you notice there's no wait here, there's no kind of pause, because actually I'm expecting this to always return something very, very quickly. So we can get a random location with this. We've got our position here, so now what we need to do is spawn the shield. So okay, let's spawn a random shield from our array. So we'll say self.property shields math.random between 1 and the number of shields. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So basically all I'm saying there is, you know, give me a random shield. So we're going to say, you know, these are the 10 shields that you can pick, or the 4 or 5 that we can have in the game. Let's pick one of those at random. And then the locator we're going to spawn it at is simply the position we've just randomly selected. Okay, so that should work, hopefully. Let's think back up here on around 10. What says Crayta t-shirt? Yep, Crayta t-shirt. Might notice, I don't know if AJ is everyone his, but a few, yeah, all members of staff, we've got a few Crayta t-shirts. If you like them, then let us know on Discord. Yeah, we'll see. See about one day maybe having a decent merch section. I quite like this one though. It's getting a bit old and worn out now. Right, so at the end of the round we want to kind of wipe, you know, the slate clean. Want to get rid of all the pickups, want to get rid of, you know, everything, and reset all the positions back to being available. Oh, one thing I must do here before I forget is actually mark this position as taken. So well, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but let's say this has a script on it called pickup station script dot property dot box. Okay, so we'll set this script up in a minute, but essentially we're telling that position it can't be used for another one. On round end, let's go through all of our positions. Work. Double check how I did this earlier. That's right, yeah. I want to keep a table of... I'm going to start a new table up here, and this is going to be a table of all of the field pickups that I've basically created so far. So, for example, this entity. Field pickups, add the entity to it. Okay, so on round end, we want to go through if every entity What I want to check here if this is still a valid entity. If entity and entity valid, because it could have been destroyed by being picked up. It could have, you know, anything could have happened to it. So if it's still a valid entity, then let's destroy it. At the end of this, we just want to set that table. Okay, that should hold up for now. So shields we want to put in here. Let's say before we mentioned. So we've got the shield chain. So there's our 4 shields we've used. Let's set some positions up. Okay, so this is going to be my shield position. Okay, I'm going to add that script I mentioned before, which I call pickup location. Okay, and this simply just needs a property attached to it, so no functions or anything like that. We just need a property that is free. Boolean, and actually the default is going to be true. So the default for Boolean is false. We need to make sure that these are free by default. Okay, my shield. Dot a few around where we might want shields to appear. So as I mentioned before, like as long as I put more of these positions down than I want max pickups, I should have more than enough. I've got 10. Plus that's unparent though. Parent mod. And that could wait. There we go. Shield pickup manager. Menu as well. Okay. So just to organise it a little bit so I can see where everything. Let's put these under there. Okay, and there's probably smarter ways to do this, but for now I'm just going to take the brute force approach. So let's just put all these gray. Okay, so we've got 10 positions. We want 5 at a time. We've got 4 shields. Let's hook into the game controller now. So I mentioned I've just called those functions game round start and round end. So let's actually make use of those now. On round start, game controller is going to tell us when it starts, and the same for the end. Okay. Okay, so let's see if that has worked. Oh, it has not. 57. Oh, huh. Right. Finish that line. Okay, so we're actually pulling out one of those at random. So that's any burn. Okay, no errors that time. Okay, we can see here that we've got one of our spinning tower shields out there that we can collect. Now the problem is, as I mentioned before, that sort of bit still there, the figures are still there, so I need to clean that up, but eventually we've got them pop the shields out, I guess. But I'm gonna make a little tweak in a minute that stops you picking shields up if you've got one. Yeah, okay, so our shield pickups are coming together nicely. Okay, so what I want to do is a couple more things. I need to tell the this thing, the pick and add, where it came from. In fact, now let me. Might have not needed that anymore. Let's just go through so you don't need that. I know. So when I pick it up, I need a reference back so I can destroy it. That's what it is. Okay, so let's just go back to here. So pick and add is going to need a new property up here, which is going to be the spawn point it came from. Again, that's going to be an entity that's not editable in the property window at the side, but it's just a good way to store things. Okay, so I've got that there, so spawn point. At the end of our interact pick action. Function somewhere here. Yeah, at the end of pick action. So once we've done the whole flow, we've picked something up, I want to destroy the spawn point. Destroy, and actually what we also want to do at this point is tell the manager that now we can actually, produce a new. Now we picked the shield up, put another shield somewhere else on the map. So let's get a reference. Up manager. This one does need to be editable, so we can actually set it in the template. So we'll do that in a moment. Okay, so hopefully you're keeping up with this. I mean, and what I should have said at the start is this is just one way of essentially handling, kind of integrating a package into a game. It really depends on the game you're making. It really depends on your level of code or sort of the various other components. So this is just one way of doing it. Hopefully talking through this, if it doesn't make absolute sense for what you're doing, it might just teach you a few little ways to integrate code across packages. It might just help kind of clear up how code works in general. So yeah, do feel free to ask me questions as I'm just sort of talking out loud as I go through this. Okay, so our entity is our spawn point, essentially, is our shield. Okay, so we need to get a reference into the pick and add spawn point of the spawn point itself. Okay, so entity dot. And as I mentioned before, the pick and add script actually lives on this entity. So we're able to say fc underscore pick and add. Fc underscore pick and add dot property form. No, it's the... Okay. Cool. Okay, so I'm basically telling the entity where it came from, and then that. So right, because what we need to do is when we destroy spawn point. Okay, so it's not about destroying. Bear with me. It's not about destroying this spawn point. It's just about telling it that it's actually free. Okay, so this has got the same pickup location script. This has got the pickup location script, so we need to tell it that it's free again. That's right, and once we finish this, then we can destroy ourselves. Okay, so this is on the spawn point. We've picked up the shield, we've been through everything, we've attached it to the player. The player's got everything it needs. We now destroy ourselves. I guess before we destroy ourselves, let's free up the position trying to. So okay, hopefully that all holds up, and hopefully that makes sense. What have I got left to do then? So we've got a shield that's active. We can collect it. It should randomly appear. We should be able to destroy. It should, we should see new ones spawn. Let's go through that logic. So I want to go through my shields that I'm going to use. So the shields I'm going to use are shield chain, and the shield manager. Yeah. What have I said? Iron shield. The police shield. Power shield 2. Not for this stream, but the shield package would be cool with Mighty's laser package reflecting laser. Oh, it would actually. Pretty cool. And like you could have different shields that would deflect different lasers and stuff and make a real puzzle game out of it. That'd be cool. Just sort of one thing I need to do is make use of that, don't I? So we're gonna that spawns a shield pickup. So we're gonna say that's free, then we need to tell our shield pickup manager center scripts pickup function was. We're going to call this, which is going to spawn a new shield, and we're going to destroy this entity. So essentially we say, yeah, free up where I am, this is available, spawn a new shield, destroy. Okay, let's just play, let's just see if and what broke. Hopefully it's giving you an idea of, I know I'm doing a lot of code here to kind of integrate it with my own game, but it is not a huge step to kind of get some of these really cool packages working with our kind of games and creations we've got pre-existing. Okay, that seems to work okay. So I've picked up shield. So what I need to do next is make it so you can't pick it up if you're currently holding one. Okay, and where I can do that is quite simply in the pick and add. We have this interact pick. So here we're kind of doing a bit of logic already to say, can we pick it up? Can't we pick it up? But before we call pick action, what we could actually say is, because we've got a reference to the player who's trying to pick it up, so it's quite simply we could say find script property shield active through. Okay, so simply, the player's going to try and interact, nothing's going to happen because they've got a shield already active. Okay, so let's see if that has done the trick. So that one let me pick it up. Good, because I wasn't active. Oh, there's one. Okay, so I can press E a bunch and it's not going to work. I can jump, free my arm up. Can't pick that. Or in fact, I think I had this issue. Move into a different one. I think once you try and pick one up, it wasn't working. Yeah, let me pick that one up. Something to look into. Might have to try and work out off stream why that is. Yeah, I feel like once you're in an area, you can't then pick it up. But yeah, that's something for later on. Okay, so that's kind of it. I think the shields are kind of there. There's probably going to be a little bits I've missed, or something will work out when we properly get going. But that should give me everything I need in terms of this. KD says, "Hey Russ, my game is published as Epic King of the Hill." Oh, cool. Yeah, so I should have said at the start, if anyone is building along, then do let me know in chat. If anyone's taken their own version of Stand Your Ground to play, we'll see about playing those at the end of the stream. It should be fun to see what makes people can do same time frame. Okay, so let's clear all these down. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have a look at the equip and go item script from Sinjin. So this is a really cool. It's quite very very straightforward thing. Not necessarily straightforward to package, but I mean like the concept's quite straightforward. It just means it gives you an option to holster your weapon. Okay, and I figured actually that's quite nice, but what can we do in terms of gameplay with that? So what I'm going to do is make it so when you've stowed your weapon, you can actually run further and jump higher. Okay, and then when you equip your weapon, you're going to be slower and can't jump as high. So it's almost like a trade-off between being armed and being agile. So we can kind of turn this into like a slight parkour game, being able to like jump up over these walls and stuff. It might be quite fun. There's not a huge amount of code associated with this either. So again, fairly straightforward package. There's just a couple of things you need to do off the bat. And it comes with a couple of really nice readme alongside it. So the first thing you need to do is attach a new template player, which is the player character. Okay, and it comes with a readme here that you can quickly scan through, and it tells you what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up the character equip script. Okay, and because this is on the player already, I'm just going to kind of leverage this script with a couple of extra little bits, get it to do things I want it to do. So, for example, I need to set a modifier for what should your speed when your weapon's equipped. Okay, so equip modifier. Now set the default as 0.5. Okay, so what I'm saying is when you've equipped, your speed is going to be half. And I'm going to do the same for equip jump modifier. Okay, so your jump height will be half. Equipped. At the start, so when the player is initialized, so the player being the character on the screen, when it spawns, I want to capture what their start is. So how what's their the template telling me what it could be. Get that through the entity because this entity is player. So speed multiplier. I'm going to say start jump, and again, it's going to be jump height multiplier. Okay, now because I'm going to start with my gun equipped, I'm going to make it so players don't have to get their gun out every time. I'm just going to run through and make them kind of slow down now off the bat. Because I've captured this, I can now modify these values. So the speed multiplier is going to start speed property. And again, it's going to be the same for this one. So the jump height multiplier is start jump times jump modifier. So basically half. So when I equip a weapon, it's going to be the same. So let's just bring that there. Okay, and when I stow my weapon, we're going to do not quite the same. We're just going to do start values again without the modifier. So when I slow the weapon, you're going to get your speed back. When you equip the weapon, you're going to move quick. So let's see what else we might need to do. You can see that there's a couple of examples here. If I edit this sword that comes with the package, we can see that it's got one script attached to it, which is the equip script, and this is kind of the main kind of way to configure how it's going to behave. Okay, so I've got my pistol. It comes with all sorts of scripts already, so let's just minimize those. Gun script, inventory script, all sorts. Okay, I'm going to add one more to this, which is going to be the equip script. So there's a little bit of overlap here because we've got things like the grip, which are defined on the inventory item script. So you could modify this one to kind of take that value. I'm just going to set it in both places for now. The pistol, equip button. I'm going to make the equip button is next, and the stow button is previous. Okay, and I want the item to be stowable. Stow bone is going to be thigh right. Okay, so I'm imagining you've got a shield on your left, you can stow it on your right hip. We might need to tweak some values down here to get it to actually sit kind of not inside the player character. I'll do that in a moment. Okay, so that should hopefully be what we need. So let's see how that works. Okay, so we can see straight away I'm running much slower and can barely jump. But if I holster my weapon, we can see that I'm now able to speed up and I can jump normal. And as soon as I re-equip my weapon, I'm a little bit slower and I can't jump. So that works, you know, really nicely. That gives me the effect of what I'm going for, which is cool. So that's really straightforward. The next thing I'm going to do on this script is actually add some prompts. You see the prompts that appear in the bottom corner for like firing your weapon, like that. That's using a Crayta package, and it's a really easy package to integrate with, and it's a really good way to explain to players how to use controls. So in this case, there's no way at the minute to know to indicate. There's no way to know at the minute how to holster your weapon, or how to equip your weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a new property up here. And then here's a really good reason for using properties for storing information. That if you update a property on the server, then that's going to automatically propagate to all of your clients. I know that sounds really confusing. What I'm basically saying there is it allows you to access things on a client, like UI, like on screen, without having to pass things around too much. It's kind of a bit more automatic in the background, which is really quite nice. So it's going to be let's say is equipped. Okay, and this is going to be a little flag that we control ourselves, so it's not going to be editable. Okay, and the default is going to be true because we're always going to start with our gun equipped. Okay, and now we just need to update that here. So on the server, so these functions happen on the server. We're going to say is equipped true. In this case, is equipped is false. Now on the client, okay, we have the prompts equipped, and the way the prompts work is on the client they're going to reach to everything the user, the player, and everything the player is holding to see what should I basically put on the screen. You know, have you got any prompts for? That's going to come in the form of a function called get button prompts. Okay, so if you know this script is attached to the player, call this get button prompts. It comes with a table. Okay, and then basically all you need to do is populate the table with the right information based on the circumstances. So in this case, when it's equipped, I want the message of, press the stow button to stow. When it's stowed, I want the button, if they want the prompt to say press the equip button to equip. So I can check my property here. So if equipped is this, so we can, here's now kind of how I'm the logic to determine what the prompt's going to say. So prompts. Okay, here's another little trick. So normally you would write something like next. Okay, prompts.next message. But because I can determine this from the item itself, so the item itself can determine whether it's going to be, what the button is. That's how we need to determine how it's going to work. I just realised actually I probably want to do all this stuff not on this, on the equip scripts. This is the script I probably put the prompt stuff. Bear with me. Just gonna sort this out. Yeah, okay, this function knows well. So let's put this over here. As I say, this function, this getting the prompts, will get called on the pistol because it's attached to the player. I think that's cleaned up. So that all should work if you're left alone as it is now. It is equipped. Okay, so that's got that flag going there. So cool. Now we're on the right place. We can say prompt self.property do button. Because that's a string, put it in the square brackets. That's going to give us the right index in that table. So prompt stow button equals self.property stow message. So we need to write that in a minute. A stow message. Stow message of type text. Then we're also going to want an equip message. Okay, so two different messages that we can write on now. It's going to be so equip name. Okay, so I'm putting name here because depending on what we call this thing, the prompt's going to change. We're working with a dynamic UI here. So by doing it in the curly braces, that allows me to format that here. So if I can say my name is actually self-get entity, find script property, friendly name. Okay, so that friendly name is going to come from our inventory item spec script. It's going to pull this pistol word from here and it's going to replace it with that name there. And we can do the same, exactly the same down here, but just switch things out. So quit button, quit message, and then the formatting is exactly the same. Okay, so let's hit play and let's see how that plays out. Okay, so we can now see in the bottom right hand corner we've got the press Z to stow pistol prompt, so press Z. That's now dynamically changed to press X to equip pistol. Okay, so that little switch giving us a nice contextual control to help players kind of understand the control scheme. So the gun script does it already. The reload dynamically appears when we've got less than full ammo. Oh, I can still fire the pistol. I hadn't thought about that. I probably need to tell the gun script you can't fire literally from the hip. Okay. That should be doable. Well, actually, I've got this is equipped flag on the equip script. So let's just open the gun script. That's really funny. So fire, and let's say here, and self get entity find script property is equipped. So before, obviously, the gun can either be equipped or it can be like not in your hands at all. So it's either like there or it's not. Where now it is there, but it's not being held. This is just a little guard against, not holding it and being able to shoot. So let's just see if that solved that problem. Otherwise, you'd have got the benefits of moving really quick while still being able to move forward. So I can shoot. If I stow my weapon. Okay. Let's see. So that's not done that. Well, let's check. Actually, check it's true, I think, rather than just. Okay, so that's probably so what if I add so we're going to basically just back out at the start. Oh wait, I was saying if it was true, wasn't I? Oh, okay. No, I think I wasn't reading my logic properly. I was saying basically if it's equipped, shoot. Or if it's equipped, shoot. Okay, there we go. So that's not shooting now. If I re-equip it, it shoots. If I unequip it, I can't shoot. Or reload. Yeah, cool. Okay, so what else we want to do? So we've got equip and stow working. We've basically got a system where kind of control the player speed and stuff. I might just up the base player. Just say like 1.5, so they can jump, half as fast. Your speed is now 1.5 and your jump height is 1.5. So when you're equipped, you're only going to move at sort of 75% of what you normally move at. Pretty good. Okay, so let's have a look at adding some gameplay tweaks. It'd be good to kind of think about how we can kind of take a remixable game and sort of put our own spin on it, maybe start to make things work slightly differently to the original. So I had a couple of ideas about that. One was, a lot of these King of the Hill games, we end up with the problem where everyone just runs around the middle in the zone until they die. Sounds kind of stupid because that's the point of the game, but I figured a nice way to kind of mix it up is actually, if you die while in the zone, your points get halved. Okay, so what we've added here is like a risk-reward strategy. So you want to be in the zone for as long as you've got health, but as soon as your health gets low, you kind of want to get out of the zone and heal up. So we'll add health reviving, which is straightforward. That's just a checkbox health script. Okay, so you can recover health after 4 seconds. Okay, so after 4 seconds of being outside, taking any damage, get some health back, and then you can try and get back in the middle. That will get people to kind of be a bit more flowing. The gameplay should kind of hop in and out a little bit more at that point. With the introduction of the shield to negate some damage, you can probably stand in the middle a little bit longer than you could before. But then obviously you don't want to be in there the whole time. So maybe when your shield breaks, you want to get out. It kind of, something like that can really quickly flip how the game's going to work. So quite a simple change for this one is on the shield, on the health script. And add a new property for the kill trigger. Okay, which is an entity. So let's just set that up. Katie says, how long do we have left? I'm probably going to be going for another 30 minutes, 40 minutes on this build, and then we'll play. So you've got a little bit of time if you wanted to make some changes. Player health kill trigger. Okay, so when I die, so this is quite easy here. So Kill. So when the player dies, just after here, I'm going to say if self.property kill trigger is overlapping entity. So what we're saying there is if the player is having just died, if they're in that trigger, then we're going to basically tell user self get entity get a user, because the user is where we store the points. So, send scripts say on died zone. Okay, score script. So this is on the user. We're tracking what their current score is. Simple little function. Score script on died in zone. Basically, just going to take their score divided by 2. Okay, so you can could have properties here. You can add a lot more logic, a lot more kind of complexity to that. But simple. Okay, I'm just going to halve their score if they die in the zone. Maybe we should do a shout as well. Do we have notifications on the? Okay. Died in the zone or half. Okay, so we're just going to send that as a shout. They died in the zone. Okay, so that's that logic. I want to. Another thing I was thinking, yeah, we could add some more pickups. So we've got the pistol. But what we could actually do is kind of get a little bit silly with this. Pretty silly. You take something like our gun, and got a classic assault rifle grip, but let's call this. I'm going to give it a pistol grip, so it kind of works with the shield offhand still. Get a bit of rotate time. Okay, now I'm going to add the equip script. So again, we can kind of holster this if we want to. Just going to pistol. Previous. Low bone is going to be thigh. And the message is going to be zone name and equip name. Okay, so one thing I am going to have to do with the equip script is, now we've added like an extra element to this, we can kind of pick up a weapon. So we might have stowed a weapon. When we pick a weapon up, it's going to automatically equip it. So we need to tell the player's equip system basically, okay, they have just equipped a gun, so therefore let's slow them down again. So go back to our player. Okay, and we'll see here on the inventory view, we have actually kind of a built-in function for when you hold a new item. And in this case, I know you can only hold new guns, so I'm going to force you to go back to being an equip item. Okay, so what you notice now is the equip item function needs grip as well. So on held item doesn't normally tell you the grip, it just tells you what you're holding. So simple fix for that to just make sure the code happy, because we see we're assuming that you're always going to get this grip, but now you're not. We can say grip or held entity, find script property, grip. Okay, so if this is nil, we're going to lean on this, and as I mentioned before, we have some overlap on the properties. So we do have a grip on inventory item spec script, so it could find the grip from there, or it could find the grip from there. So basically we're saying, you know, if we haven't provided a grip, we have been provided the held entity, get the grip off that. So that should hopefully get around that little problem. There's all these little things, and a lot of the time you have these really small little kind of integration things to think about and go through, but normally it's just a kind of a one line change here, or a slight change the way an event works, or you know, it's really not a huge amount of work. Cindy says cool modification. Thank you. Yeah, so you know, it's things like this. It's a really nice package and it's really easy to work with. It's fun to kind of think, you know, gameplay, what can we do? Sort of throw this up. Is there a sound for holster? I shouldn't have a sound setting. Is there a sound holster? I'm not sure. We could add one. I guess we could add sound when that happens. I might leave it for now, but you know, that's, you know, there's all those little things you really start to craft it more and more. So let's get some of our guns in. And avoid, so these red should be my should be my my shield. I'm not putting a huge amount of thought into it though, but obviously when it comes to game design, there's a lot of time you can take around pickups and optimal routes. And, you know, play games like Doom, really kind of well crafted levels, but you know, a big part of how well crafted the level is around, you know, respawn times for pickups and, you know, making sure that it's all that sort of level of balance. Okay, let's just see how well that has worked. Start with the pistol. That's got my speed modifications working still. If I can find... Oh, probably need to change the respawn times. It's going to take a minute to appear. Actually, I want to make it so when you collide with them, these on collision. Right, respawning, let's say any time between 10 seconds and a minute. 10 seconds and 30 seconds. Oh, there was one more thing I need to change actually, just remembered. So because I've got one inventory slot and I've got the pistol already, I do need to go to my user and just check replace item if full. So this basically means if your inventory's full, swap. I think that item out for a new one. Power shield. Ah, I see a gun. Got my my AK. So yeah, you can see, yeah, you can still have fun with some of the weapons. It doesn't really look like an AK. I'll find it in one hand, but adds an extra element to the gameplay itself. And yeah, the shield seems to be working fine. So okay, so let's see what happens in here now. So I should be gaining points. I'm slowly taking damage. Okay, so when I get to 10, if I jump, I'll probably end up with like 6 points. Yeah. So what happens there is I think it halves, but then because I'm getting a point every second, I instantly get back up to 6. So that seems to work. So I died in the zone and therefore lost half of my points. So you can imagine when you get them right up towards the end of the game, you know, you're really close to 50. You really have to be careful about to get to 50, because if you get killed at 49, You're going to end up right back down on the sort of like 24, 25 points. Oh, yeah, it's come together nicely. So I've got a little bit of time, so I think I'm going to look at one more package because there's a few that kind of come up. There are a few spots sort of fairly empty, which is, you know, good for a shooter to have the space. But what I want to do is have a look at the platformer set by Makito. This is a really good, really well detailed set of traps, which kind of just works out the box. If you've got the health system installed, which this game kind of came with as part of the remix, it just works. You know, if you collide with stuff, it is just going to kill you, which is pretty fun. So let's have a look at adding some of these. For example, I really like add some shield pickups like on the trap, so you've got to kind of be quick if you get them. Straight lines, saw blade wall. This one's just awesome. Looks really cool. I guess I can dial it a bit. So let's damage. Cool. These like basically fly across the map. It looks awesome. And what I am going to do is one little tweak I'm going to sort of adjust the collision of these saw blades so it actually doesn't hit the camera. So I've noticed that when you get close to it and you get hit, the camera gets thrown around a little bit. So quite simply just make it so that all of these meshes only collide with the player. That way it's not going to push our camera and get hit by them. It's really worth considering, you know, when you're working with meshes, is does this mesh need to collide with the camera? I know the default is collide all. You know, if you're set dressing, if you've got a table and the table's got lots of little things on it, even in an action cam, there's a good chance the camera at some point is going to hit the things on that table. So, and that's going to push the camera around. And as soon as you start pushing the camera back and forth, it can really start to kind of be a little bit of a horrible experience for the player. So making things collide with the player only means the camera can kind of freely pass around and through things, especially if you're using an orbit cam. Really important to consider what meshes in the world are going to have a collision. So the other one I like is the spinning axe platform. I want to add it to places that's like fairly dangerous near the tower, or near the hill, so you're having to kind of work your way up to being you have to sort of work your way up to being as close to the top as you can, but it's going to be sort of fairly dangerous. I put a shield to spin on top of it. And again, I'm going to do the same for these. So let's make the blade not collide with the camera. Nice. Okay. Dig a hole here. Put one of the 4 traps in. Wait a bit. That's a bit bigger than I thought it was. Like floor. Yeah, if you're ever making a sort of obby or any sort of adventure game, and I really recommend this package because yeah, a lot of the things really cool. I'm not going to use all of them, but there's great big like trap walkway. You've got a squasher, which looks cool. What else we got? There's more in here. Drill wall, where like drills come out the wall. There's the fire pit, boulder swing. There's a few that don't quite fit the aesthetic. Why not? Great big boulder swinging back backwards and forwards, just to kind of throw a bit more sort of danger into it all. Four blades in here. Okay, I'll do right. Let's have a little play, see how well these just work out of the box. So all I've done is installed the package and dropped those in. Awesome blades. Yep, I get dropped. Okay, kept my rifle, so I want to add something that's going to reset my inventory when I die. Forfeit. Can get out of this shit. Careful, or try to go in. Field spinning around on the top. Okay, yeah, I like it. It's good. Right, so I'm just going to reset my inventory, and I think that might be it. I might just go for it. Probably going to be some issues around the pickups, but you know, for an hour and a half, I think that's a decent change to the game. So aesthetically, quite similar. You know, I've not really changed much other than adding the traps. We've really managed to sort of overhaul the gameplay a bit. You know, there's some stuff that is fundamentally the same, but the kind of the way you're going to play the game is going to change slightly. So let's just go to our user. So quite an easy thing. We'll see a few games that you know you retain your inventory when you die. It's quite a straightforward thing to do. If you go to your spawn folder on user, you've got this on user died event. You just drag your inventory into that as a new call and just call reset. So simply it's going to reset the inventory back to what it starts as when the player next respawns. Okay, quick look through my list. I think I've covered everything I intended to. Yeah, there was going to be one thing. Let me just double check. I think I've just done it in code now, instead. But when I I did it this way. Okay, so what I'd done previously was to call, when this gets destroyed, was to call the shield manager, but instead I'm just passing it through. Okay, that's fine. Cool, that all works. Okay, cool, let's get this published. So if anyone watching did want to come and play, then if you do want to load into the game and get ready, I'll get a share code out. I'll have a play, and then if anyone did make a game, let me know now, and we can jump in and have a quick play through these games for the next 10 minutes or so. A remix of Stand Your Ground. Stand Your Group. Remix of Stand Your Ground with added shields and more. Okay, and there we go. Simple as that. We've got a new game go and play. So as I say, if you are in game, Battlegrounds King of the Hill should be available. I'll get a share code for their sort of live session in a moment. Hopefully it all works. Hopefully it doesn't completely break. Always worth, you know, I guess I should have done it, but always worth going through the instructions when you remix a game, because there's a good chance that, you know, the original remix, so the original game's instructions might have changed, might not make, you know, the same amount of sense. Certainly the image has changed, you know, with more time I could take a new photo with the traps in place and the shields and stuff. Okay, I can see Victorious is here already, that's good. Okay, let's share. Oh, great sharing. Okay, you can see it there on screen, 7BD7WA. Drop that in the chat. Okay, cool. Let's see how well this works. Oh, one thing I didn't do is change the amount. Bonk. Okay, so we're unequip. Oh, I made it so you still take damage when you jump. Oh well, maybe that's part of the game. Guess the shields aren't going to last very long against the assault rifle. I don't want to be in here when someone comes up. I guess limited ammo would be another good way to force people out of the middle. Anybody gonna get me? Out. Okay, right, I don't want to die in here. I'm at 40 points, that's good. I don't want to grab a shield, I'm going to regen some health. Crayta just died out there. I'm king of the hill, so maybe I'll make it now. Yay! Made it, cool. There we can see I instantly was unable to kind of just camp in the middle. I hit a point where I was getting shot and I kind of needed to get out of there. Gather a gun. On round start we need to do that reset trick as well. Oh, I'm so dead already. Ow. Can you remove the damage on jump? Yeah. No, yeah, I can remove the damage on jump. I think that was an oversight. Okay, so I've got a shield. I probably need to up the shield amount as well. The gun seems to do a lot of damage on this game by default. So okay, so that shield saved me from a bit of damage there. Victorious killed Victorious. Because Victorious tried to jump and died. Okay, I'm going to get out of there. Grab a shield. Grab a faster gun as well. Work code. No worries, Draghouse. Thank you for tuning in at least. It's been good fun. Yeah, playlist music. Just not quite match the tone of the game. Ooh, headshot. Yeah, I'm going for it. Oh, the shield saved my life. Hey, another win. Splugster on the 0.25. Okay, we'll play one more round. As I know there's clearly a few things I need to tweak, like gun damage is way too high, and yeah, jumping shouldn't hurt you really. I think that's fun. I think there's definitely something in that. There's you know, it's a fun way. Game. Ooh, is it? Something seems to not. I wonder if. I think I might have forgot to clear all the re-shield spawn. Okay, cool. Probably a good point to move on to the next game. I think what's happened there is at the end of the round I haven't freed up the slots for the shields, so that whole while loop thing I said was dangerous. That's why. So I can go clean that up probably after the stream. But while we're here, let's go ahead and play. I think the only game I think that's come through in the build along was when KD recently updated was the epic King of the Hill. So yeah, updated and created today. So let's go and have a check this out. So I'm assuming this is the same. This has been built on the same game. So yeah, let's see what KD's done. Remixing same out. Ooh, dark and neon, nice. Yeah, let's get a share code out for anyone who wants it. Okay, so I guess we've got the same. So yeah, shotgun and gun. Got these cool like neon platforms. Who is that jumping around? Recoil's crazy. $35, gotta come and get me. Oh, 43, I'm almost there. 48, 40, 50. Cool. Yeah, we'll play like 2 more rounds and then we'll probably call that a day. So hopefully that's been, like a good stream and like a good example of how you can take packages and with a bit of work, you can really start to craft your own. Bilvis says, feels bad man, I missed it. I see if me and missed the stream, then don't worry. Obviously, the archive will be available on YouTube. Dude. Just trolling. Multiple people. Ah. Glorious sneak. Ooh, almost blocked it. Russ is so hard to hit. I think I'm pretty sure I'm as easy to hit as everybody else. Yeah, nothing special. No dev hacks, promise. Okay, 48, 49, 50. Cool. Okay, right. Well, yeah, that Katie, that's really cool. I really like that's a kind of interesting twist on the game. Like, the green lava, the green neon. Like, kind of, as I say, it's a really nice way to remix a game. What is it? A really nice remix is to kind of take the game and like change it aesthetically. So what I did was a lot of gameplay mechanics. I think it's nice to what you've done here. You've kind of changed the way the game looks and feels, and by making it night, kind of changes up how that looks and feels. Which really really cool. Okay, I think that's a really good point to wrap this stream up. My voice can only take so much more. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and say hopefully that's been a useful insight into kind of ways that you can remix games, not just by changing the way the game looks, but really kind of crafting your own gameplay experience, especially when it comes to some of the really cool packages that we're seeing made all the time now. And celebrate some of these spark winners. We've done things with traps from Makito. We've got coverage shields in, engines, equip and stow. So even the sort of slightly more simple things can really hugely change the way the game works. So really kind of look forward to see what sort of remixes people do. Let me know in the comments or in chat, or over on Discord. It's discord.gg/Crayta. Let us know over there kind of if there's other games that you'd like me to remix. I really enjoy this sort of stream. I think it's good to kind of dive in, start to change the way the game works, and kind of think about ways that you can take someone else's experience and make it your own, and using the packages. Hopefully it's a useful thing to say for everybody as well as an exercise. So yeah, do let me know what you think. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see on a Tuesday stream, then again, let me know. Always happy to hear the sorts of things you'd like to see people do. Is there any kind of specific areas you want more coverage in the editor? More playing, anything like that. So yeah, do let me know. I'm always happy to hear more. You can find out more about Crayta as always on Twitter and Instagram at Crayta Game on those platforms. And if you follow, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff on YouTube and Twitch, it really does help keep momentum behind the streams and keeps us kind of getting them out a couple of times a week. So speaking of streams, AJ is back tomorrow for another play along. Do make sure you tune in tomorrow, grab your controllers, jump in and play along with a bunch of games. It's been a really amazing period over the holiday break. Some really cool games come out. So yeah, AJ is going to be checking out more of those games with the community. So yeah, do make sure you tune in tomorrow, same time, same channels, 7 GMT. So yeah, I'm going to disappear before my voice really does give out. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been good fun to have some chat. And I'll see you later on.